Hello, this is a hair tutorial for people who believe the hair is dead. Oh wait, it is dead. Okay, so I'm not dissing people who do want to spend loads of money on their hair and loads of time on their hair. I am not one of those people. I do not want my hair to like crown my head and my face, and I don't want it to like radiate out of me as part of me. I just want it to not evoke comment. I don't want it to be bad enough to evoke comment. I love playing around with my hair, as you know, and I hate paying for things, and I've had lots of bad experiences with hairdressers who are just kind of like, they'll just like slip me their card at the end and look at my pink hair and be like, this is for when you want to go brunette. Basically, I'd rather spend £45 on gin. That's where we're going with this. So, what you're going to need, dear frugal viewer, is a pair of hair scissors. Now, I had a little disaster back in 2009. Didn't buy hair scissors, didn't watch hair tutorials, didn't cut my hair like this. It went wrong. That was not the plan. That was not the plan.
Not even. I have a habit of doing this as well. And just like letting it flop. Look what happens when it flops. That is the worst. That is the worst. I've got a mullet. I am a responsible adult. Nothing good will come of this.
So as stingy as you are, get thee to Boots, £9, never have to buy them again. I was just like, they're scissors, they're not just scissors, they're hair scissors, it's different, science. Okay, I'm also going to attempt to make sure this tutorial is as fast as possible, because if you have the attention span that I do for hair, which is why you're probably here, is not long. I've got quite thin hair, so I like to take the section where I'm going to make a fringe from quite far back, just because my hair's quite thin, but it depends on your hair type. There's two ways you can do it. You can either section your hair so it's in a nice dome shape like that, or you can just do it two straight lines. I'm going to do a dome shape, I think, just because it involves more hair. Natural hair licks are not a myth, so try to just listen to your hair about it. Like, just don't be a dick. Just don't be a dick about it, basically. No means no. If your hair doesn't want to go a certain way, or you know there's certain hairs that will just pop over there, just put them there. It's fine. It's all easy. So now you've got the section that you do want to cut into a fringe. I would suggest ejecting the rest from the situation. Put them on the children's table. This is an adult's evening. Another other way. It's hard to present a show when the whole point of the show is that you have too much of a fringe. The way I prefer to do my hair is that I prefer to not just have a straight line like this. I don't just want this. That is not what I want. I want like a nice little curve round, because I'm often going to have my hair down and I want my fringe to kind of blend in. So I pull the hair down to probably just below the bridge of my nose, like there. I tend to try and do it longer than I would do, and then I'll shorten it later. Grab it there, and then what the trick is to twist like that. Do you see what I did? Twist, hold it with this hand, and that means that the hairs, I've got a straggler, this far end of my head are crossing over to this side, and the hairs from the far end of this side of my head are travelling over here, but the centre bits are centred in the middle here, which means that these bits will be shorter than these bits, which is the idea, because we want to do this. Okay, I would do this a few times just to make sure you've got a feel that you feel. It's just got to feel right, man. It's a spiritual journey, this fringe thing. Okay, think where you'd like to cut, and then cut lower, because things are going to get cray from here. You ready? Webs. As you can tell, I don't care. Ready? Steady. Easy to cut into it like that. Try and get that as straight as possible, but it doesn't matter because we're going to trim lots anyway. We cut off some hair, yay! That's the strategy. Some gone. Do you feel lighter in yourself? Good. Okay, what we've got here is quite a long fringe. High fashion, low practicality level. So what we're going to do is move you back up a bit. So now I want to shorten my hair a bit. I'm obviously going to be blow drying, curling it a little bit, so it's going to have a little bit of lift. But the way I then shorten my fringe again is to take a section. I'll tell you what, let's split it into two. And I'm going to take a straight down section from there, like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it back on itself. You can see the shortest bits in the front are falling down because they are the shortest bits. But you can see these bits here are straggling down. So what I do is cut into those very lightly. Here, doesn't need to be exact. Pull it back. You can see those are the bits that are left over. So I'm just going to trim those And then when I pull it forward, it's gradually gradiated. Okay, so now we've got what I would consider to be an okay gradient of fringe shape. Something a little bit choppy, a little bit casual, but it generally feels in some way saluting at the symmetrical. Now what I'm going to do is trim into it. So basically we did the whoop, whoop to get the shape. We did the whoop, ching to get the layers and the thickness, so that it wasn't just straight across and it moved naturally. And now I'm literally just going to trim it. So what I do for trimming it is I chop into the hair. So if you can see this here, what I do to get it quite natural is to just shear at it this way. And you see hairdressers doing this in shops. Just literally, you're gonna gently do it like that so it stays even. And then we measure it to there. That is the perfect length I'd like it. Cool. So I'm going to do the same again and take about the same amount off, bearing in mind the gradient that I spent ages creating. Still eight. Okay, so that is my casual choppy fringe. I've left it so that I still have some room for lift when I blow dry it, as you can see. So that will be a perfect length once it's blow dried. And usually when you cut your hair, it goes a little bit weird. It gets a bit of a shock. So what I'm going to do is go and wash it and possibly dye it. And then I'll show you at the end. Yay! £45 richer. Okay, so it's the next day and this is the finished fringe. Yay, we did the fringe. Was it that hard? Nah. Thanks for putting up with the slightly different kind of content. I just feel like this is a video that I look for all the time and I would love somebody to explain it really simply, as this is a combination of different techniques that I've learned from the internet and work for me. Yay! Let me know if you cut your fringe. Frog slug out.